heard the names whispered everywhere, haven't you? Mounjaro, Wegovy, Ozempic. They're dominating headlines, flooding social media, and sparking a conversation that's impossible to ignore. We're talking about a medical phenomenon unfolding not in some far-off laboratory, but inside a simple injection pen. Today, we're cutting through all the noise. We're going to get right into the science, the real-world results, and the critical differences behind these drugs that are absolutely changing the game. So, is this really a revolution packed into a tiny pen? I mean, the hype is off the charts. You can't deny it. These medications are completely reshaping how we think about weight management and type 2 diabetes. They've created this massive wave of demand, but also a ton of questions. How do they work? Who are they for? And which one is right for who? Well, let's get into it. Okay, so here they are, our three main contenders. Now, at their heart, Mounjaro, Wegovy, and Ozempic are all part of the same family of drugs, known as GLP-1 receptor agonists. That sounds complicated, but the idea is actually pretty simple. Think of it like this. They basically act like a copycat of a hormone your gut naturally releases when you eat. And their main job? It's to send a message straight to your brain's control center saying, hey, we're full, you can stop eating now. This is huge for someone like, let's say, Sarah. She's tried everything, every diet, every workout plan, and nothing has stuck. She's hearing all the buzz and is starting to wonder, could one of these be the key she's been searching for? All right, time for our first quick check-in. What body system do these drugs primarily signal to reduce appetite? Is it A, the stomach, B, the liver, or C, the brain? If you said C, the brain, you are absolutely right. While they do slow down how fast your stomach empties, their real power comes from targeting the hunger centers right in your brain. Now let's really zero in on the two medications that are leading this weight loss revolution, Mounjaro and Wegovy. So who exactly is eligible for these? Well, here in the UK, the guidelines are pretty clear. To be prescribed Mounjaro or Wegovy for weight loss, you generally need a body mass index, a BMI, of 30 or higher, which puts you in the obese category. The other path is having a BMI of 27 or more, which is considered overweight, but only if you also have another health issue that's related to your weight, like high blood pressure or prediabetes. Okay, let's test that out with a real-world scenario. A person with a BMI of 28 who also has prediabetes could be eligible for these drugs. Is that true or false? The answer is true. Yep, because their BMI is above that 27 threshold and they have a qualifying weight-related condition, making them a likely candidate. This, right here, is where things get really interesting. This is the core difference. Wegovy runs on an active ingredient called semaglutide. It's a fantastic GLP-1 agonist. But Mounjaro is different. Its active ingredient is tirzepatide, and it's what we call a dual agonist. That means it mimics not one, but two different hormones. GLP-1, same as Wegovy, but also another one called GIP. This dual action approach is Mounjaro's secret weapon. It's like hitting the problem from two different angles at once. Let's make sure that sinks in, because it's a big deal. What is that additional hormone that Mounjaro mimics but Wegovy doesn't? Is it A, insulin, B, GIP, or C, glucagon? The correct answer is B, GIP. And GIP is so important because it works together with GLP-1 to help regulate blood sugar, but it also seems to play a big role in how our bodies manage fat. That 1-2 punch is what really gives Mounjaro its powerful edge. Okay, now if you just glance at the dosages, it can look a little confusing. I mean, Mounjaro goes all the way up to 15 milligrams, while Wegovy's max dose is only 2.4. But here's what you need to focus on. Don't get hung up on the numbers. The important thing is the schedule. Both are a once-weekly injection, And for both, you start on a very low dose, and then slowly, every 4 weeks, you increase it. This start low, go slow approach is really key to helping your body get used to the medication and keeping side effects to a minimum. All right, so we know they're a bit different under the hood. We know how they're dosed. So now let's get to the main event, the showdown. How do they actually stack up against each other when it comes to results? And wow, when you look at the data from the major clinical trials, it is pretty striking. In the big STARMOUNT-1 trial for Mounjaro, people on the highest dose lost, on average, a staggering 22.5% of their body weight. For Wegovy, in its key trial, the average loss was up to 17%. Now, let's be clear, both of those numbers are incredible, a total game changer. But the data does show that Mounjaro has a clear edge in terms of pure weight loss power. Let's lock that number in our heads because it is seriously impressive. According to those major studies, what was the maximum average weight loss for patients taking Mounjaro? Was it A, 15%, B, 17%, or C, 22.5%? Yep, the answer is C, 22.5%. That's a huge number. But of course, effectiveness isn't the only thing people have to think about. There's also the cost. And the difference is pretty significant. A year's supply of Mounjaro is going to run you about 3,277 pounds. Wegovy, on the other hand, is closer to 2,147. This brings us to our second case study, Maria. She's seen the incredible results of Mounjaro, but she's also looking at her budget. That extra effectiveness is really tempting, but a difference of over 1,000 pounds a year is something she has to seriously consider. Okay, this one should be pretty easy after that last slide, but it's a critical part of the puzzle. Which medication generally represents a higher annual financial investment? Is it A, Mounjaro, or B, Wegovy? Of course, the answer is A, Mounjaro. It really highlights that classic trade-off, right? Top-tier performance often comes with a premium price tag. So we've talked results and we've talked costs, but there's another really important piece of the puzzle, the side effects. Before we get into that, though, I want to give a special thanks to London HeartbeatsZ Academy in the UK for their amazing educational support. You can go explore their 150-plus popular courses. And you should definitely subscribe to their Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for free regular updates. You don't want to miss what they have coming up. And for those who want even more, check out their higher-level YouTube memberships for early access and even personal guidance sessions. All right, side effects. Now, because these drugs work in such a similar way, it's not really a surprise that their side effect profiles look almost identical. The ones you'll hear about most, the very common ones, are all related to your digestive system. We're talking nausea, diarrhea, vomiting, constipation. These tend to be most noticeable right when you start the medication or just after you move up to a higher dose. Then you have the common side effects, which can include things like dizziness, some hair loss, or gallstones. Okay, let's see who is paying close attention. Which of these side effects is listed as common but not very common? Is it A, nausea, B, hair loss, or C, diarrhea? The correct answer here is B, hair loss. Nausea and diarrhea are definitely in that top tier of very common effects that a lot of people feel at the beginning. We've spent a lot of time comparing Mounjaro and Wegovy, but what about that third name that's always in the mix, Ozempic? This is probably the single biggest point of confusion out there, so let's clear it up right now. Okay, if you remember one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. Wegovy and Ozempic have the exact same active ingredient. It's called semaglutide. They are essentially the same drug. The difference is all in the branding, the licensing, and the dosing. Wegovy is specifically packaged and approved for weight loss, and its dose goes up to 2.4 milligrams. Ozempic is licensed and dosed to manage type 2 diabetes, and its max dose is a bit lower at 2.0 milligrams. Now let's think about John. John has type 2 diabetes, and his doctor put him on Ozempic. The main goal of his treatment is to get his blood sugar under control. Now, if he loses some weight, that's a fantastic bonus, but it's not the primary reason he's taking the drug. So let's make sure that is absolutely crystal clear. What is the primary approved on-label use for Ozempic in the UK? Is it A, weight loss for all adults, B, managing type 2 diabetes, or C, lowering cholesterol? The answer, without a doubt, is B, managing type 2 diabetes. Understanding that distinction is everything. One last time on this, just to be sure. This statement is, Wegovy and Ozempic contain different active ingredients. Is that true or false? That is absolutely false. It's the most important similarity between them. They are both the drug semaglutide, just in different pens for different purposes. Okay, deep breath. We've covered a ton of ground. The science, the clinical results, the costs, and the really critical differences. So let's bring it all home and put it all together in a final summary. So here are your top takeaways. Mounjaro, the most powerful option for weight loss, but it's also the most expensive. Wegovy, a fantastic, proven, and more affordable choice that's specifically for weight loss. And Ozempic. It's the same drug as Wegovy, but it's licensed and intended for managing type 2 diabetes. And please remember this, none of these are a magic wand. They are powerful tools, but they work best when you use them alongside a healthy diet and regular exercise. Oh, and one last critical tip. If you ever switch from one of these meds to another, you must wait at least 7 days after your last dose before you start the new one. Okay, pop quiz. MCQ 9. What is that minimum waiting period? You got it, 7 days. And to lock it all in, MCQ 10. Which of these three is primarily for blood sugar control? Exactly, Ozempic. At the end of the day, science has given us an incredible new toolkit. Mounjaro, Wegovy, and Ozempic each have a clear role and a unique profile. Understanding what makes them different is the first crucial step. But the next step, well, that's the journey. And that's a conversation that you need to have with your doctor to figure out which path, if any of them, is truly the right one for you.